Hello, I am God, a rosary. See now that even I, am He, and there is no God with me. Deuteronomy 32:30, 9 chapter 1, the last sermon. Hello, I am God. I know what you are going to say, so I'll say it for you. Come back when you are feeling better. Now, I am feeling fine right now, and I am not going to be feeling better later. I am dead serious. Who knows better who I am than I do myself? Nobody. You know that. After all, you know very well who you are. So grant me the same privilege. It does not matter what is on your birth certificate or what is on your high school diploma. Those are just names somebody else gave you. You know very well who you are. And I know who I am. I am God. I am 46 years old. Some people begin a preaching career at my age. I am ending one that started late. I had a ministry of 4 years, surpassing Jesus by only 6 months. After 6 years of search, I find that there are no church doors open to me. It is the end. I can no longer be a preacher. There are preachers who anguish over their sermons. Some spend hours and days trying to find a subject. Others spend hours in prayer. The professional has an immense file of sources. He digs into it at the last moment with a sigh and resolution that next time he will not be so busy. Next time he will do a better job. I was never like that. It seemed like I found something new and fresh every time I opened the Bible. It seemed like I was never happier than when I was preaching. Why stop now? I have preached on 5 continents in as many or more languages. I have been successful in places where success does not exist. I have done the impossible, the improbable, the surprising. Education, experience, dedication to the task, a deep love for people, a desire to serve should open doors on every hand. Why do I not continue? They do not open doors. Why do they not open doors? Have I committed some great sin which keeps me from the ministry? Adultery is forgivable. Drug addiction can be overcome. Drinking is endearing. But I have not committed adultery nor taken drugs. I am a teetotaler. I am no longer qualified to be a preacher. I am vastly overqualified. I am God. So here is the last sermon. I have written it, but I have no place to go to preach it. There is no church in existence that would let God into the pulpit. There are few that would let him in the doors. When I admitted that I was God, all the incomprehensible things in my life became clear. Now the incredible thing is not that I am God, nor that I know and say I am God. What is incredible is how I, who created and uphold the universe, could have ever failed to recognize who I was. I got the first clue from others. Even years ago, when people thought I was a child, I was nearly always invisible. Now being invisible can be distressing for a child or even a grown man. For God, it is normal. If I had realized who I was, I should have saved myself from any number of small inconveniences. The first time I remember being invisible was in church. Now I am so used to going unrecognized in church that I hardly give it a passing thought. They sing and preach about me there, and even pray to me, but as often as not they look right through me. I was sitting with a group of children around a table. The lady who was spinning a line to those poor things passed out a little picture to everyone but me. One little boy noticed and told the lady she had overlooked it. She did not pay any attention. I felt bad about it at the time, but if I had known then what I know now, I would have understood. The last time it happened was just last night. I went to Carol's to get a fish burger and could not get served. Now just being invisible is no proof. It is not my intention to offer any proof at all. Why should I? After all, most Christians believe Jesus is God. Now, Jesus was a man just like me. The only difference is that I'm still around and can be checked on. Jesus, however, is gone, outright disappeared, and left no proof really that he ever existed, nor is there any record that he ever even claimed to be God, whereas I have said so outright. So it's much easier to believe I am God than it is to believe he is. Jesus did claim, it seems, to be the Son of God, whatever that means. I set the record straight right now. I never laid a hand, much less a leg, on the Virgin Mary. Let's say you are a Christian. You believe that Jesus is God the Son, and you do not believe that I am God. Well, it does not really matter what you believe. I'll get to you on the day of judgment. The point is, I make a much stronger case for myself than Jesus does. You do not look like God, you say. Well, I do not know who you think you are to tell me what God should look like. Anyway, I look every bit as much like God as Jesus does. If you are God, why don't you do something about this mess the world's in? Why don't you heal all the sick people and get rid of injustice and oppression, war and famine? You say, now I do not know what that question has to do with my being God. You could ask it just as well if somebody else were God. I ask you, if you are a Christian, why don't you do something about this mess the world's in? Now the shoe's on the other foot, and see if you like it. I get tired of God being blamed for all the things people do to themselves and each other. It's a good thing I am invisible, or they would be wanting to crucify me next. Let's think about the matter. I made the world. My power is infinite. Now you know very well that Einstein suggested that matter and energy are the same thing, just going at different speeds, so to say. Now what would happen to the universe if I penetrated it with my power? Why, if I merely touched the universe with my little finger, the whole thing would fall apart, and you with it. So don't go tempting the Almighty to do this or that, because I might just take you up on it one of these days. Then where would you be? In kingdom come? No, I cannot penetrate the universe with my infinite power and expect it to go on existing. So I don't. But the world which cannot sustain my power can hold my goodness. That is why you find me here in the world without an inkling of my might and majesty, but in all my infinite goodness. Oh, you scoff. You are just a mortal man and sinner, like all the rest of us. Now that is downright presumptuous. Even if I were not God, I might very well be immortal like Enoch and Elijah. Even if I were not God, I might be sinless like Joseph, Daniel, and Jesus. The man born blind was sinless, and so were his parents, as Jesus tells it. So you are God. You relent at last. Well, so what? Well, so what is right? I am God. But I have not got more to say to you. I might as well remain invisible and shut up. That was something I learned a long time ago. I found it out on Mount Sinai. That is the time, you remember, I came down and spoke so everyone could hear me. Then a couple of million people heard a speech so well they could even agree afterward on what I said. That speech is written down, handed down, and studied. It's even better known than the Gettysburg Address, and not much longer. Do you know something? For all the Decalogue is short and easy. Nobody listens to what I said. Why, they will even tell you the commandments cannot be kept. Now, I, God, ask which commandment cannot be kept. Which one is too hard? Every one of them can be kept just sitting at home on your own sofa. It takes more initiative to break them, to get up off the sofa and go over to the neighbor's and steal his silver or sleep with his wife. The churches pick and choose. Some say to keep the Sabbath, and some say Sunday. Some even make me out to be so stupid as to claim every day is a Sabbath. Others say one day in 7. If they do obey the Sabbath commandment, they break another. They say I am 3 persons instead of 1. Now just look at me. Even a deaf and blind man could detect that I am one and one only. If nothing else, they give themselves the right to kill. Do you claim to be sinless? You ask. Sinfulness and sinlessness relate to the attitudes and behavior people show regarding my commands. Such categories do not relate to God. I am neither sinful nor sinless. but I am the one towards whom others are either sinful or sinless. St. Paul said that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. He was exaggerating to make a point. Maybe he forgot my servant Job, who was perfect and upright. Well, what do you think about St. Paul, you ask? St. Paul is the second most misunderstood figure in history after Jesus Christ. Pocahontas is a close third. It seems to me, you say, that you belittle Jesus Christ every time you refer to him. On the contrary, I sent him into the world. I wish that every person were one with me as he was and is. You think I belittle him because you believe he is God. I have given him authority over all things, but I cannot very well make him God, because I myself am God. He was faithful to me even though everyone turned against him. It was not his fault he failed. One good thing, if you think it is good, came out of the affair. When they nailed him to the cross, he asked me to forgive them, since they did it out of ignorance. Now, whenever they try to kill God, you can be sure they know what they are doing. Who are they? You ask sarcastically. Well, you then, if you like. By the way, where were you, God, when we killed 6 million Jews? You ask. Why didn't you save them? I made myself scarce fast. Do you think I wanted to get gas? I would have been the first one to get picked up. You've heard of people who are more papist than the Pope? Well, I am more Jewish than the Jews. To be God is to have a perfect grasp of reality. The reality of human experience is that there are only 3 human motives. Everything a person does comes from a combination of greed, cruelty, and lust. The right combination of these 3 comes over as a sparkling personality. The highest possible human achievement is to remove greed and cruelty from motivation and act from pure lust. Few attain it. What kind of God would create human beings like that? You exclaim. I know, but I am not telling. What have you done for your fellow men? You ask. First of all, realize that I have no fellow men. I am God, unique and incomparable. There is none like me. I have neither associates nor fellows. But if you are speaking of human beings, did I not create them and give them life? Did I not give them the capacity of choosing good and rejecting evil? Did I not give them a share of food on the earth with other creatures? What do you mean to insinuate that I have done little for my fellow men? The first words of the Decalogue which I spoke on Mount Sinai are Anoki Yahuwah. I am the Lord. These words should have been sufficient. The rest of what I said was superfluous. I now simplify the 10 Commandments in view of your tight schedule. I speak quickly before you flick off the switch. Since I am gracious and merciful, I make it easy for the Pepsi generation, microwave meditation, instant coffee contemplation. Anoki Yahuwah. I am God.